In response to the video, how I became convinced, I heard from some of you who were feeling what I was feeling toward the end of that video. And when I was saying, I'm feeling the frequency of what I'm saying. And some of you are like, yes, I can be in that place. Yet there are still thoughts that are coming up at the same time that's telling me that my belief that I am peace, I am love, I am health, I am wealth, I am all of those things. When my thoughts are there, there are also thoughts mixed into that that's telling me that that's not true. So how do I deal with those challenging thoughts? And there are a few things that I want to share from my own experience of challenging thoughts that may be helpful to you. The first is, in order for a thought to be perceived as challenging, I have to decide that it is challenging. I have to decide that. The thought in and of itself is not inherently challenging. It's just present. So when a thought arises, we can decide, oh, you're just there and I don't have to do anything with you, really. You're just kind of going across my mind like a cloud. I don't have to really do anything with you. So it's only challenging if I decide that it's challenging. The second decision that causes it to be challenging, from my own personal experience, is I have decided that the thought is actually true. I've decided that that thought is true or somehow threatening. That is why it feels challenging, right? So let's say the thought comes up and goes, yeah, you've been talking about manifesting money for the last 5 years, girl, and you're still in the same place. That's a thought. It's just a thought. It's not true. I'll come back to, well, let me go there while I'm here. Some of you may be hearing me right now going, but that thought is true. That's my life. I've been trying to manifest more money for 5-10 years now, and it hasn't happened. That thought, like what's happening in your present moment, is a reflection of past vibrational offering. It's not a reflection of who you are today. This moment is rich with opportunity to offer a new vibration. So then we have to decide, am I going to align with my history, my past experiences, or am I going to align with what's possible for me now in this moment? And we get to choose. We always get to choose. So what's happening in this present moment, the stories that are unfolding in this present moment, has more to do with what we offered vibrationally in the past than who we choose to be in this moment. And we can hit the reset button anytime and start a whole new experience from this present moment, you know? So that's the second thing. We have to decide that it's true in order for it to be challenging. It may have been true from past vibrational offering, but who am I now in this fresh, new, present moment? I'm not that. I am this that I'm choosing to align with in this moment, you know? So it's not true until we decide it's true. The third decision that we are often making that causes thoughts to be challenging, because thoughts are really not inherently challenging. They can be, but it's because of the way in which we are perceiving it and these decisions that we're making that contributes to the experience of it being challenging. The other one is that we are, again, the thought is just crossing our mind, right? We are deciding, as this thought is crossing my mind, I am going to grab onto it and mull it over and dance with it. Like the thought is knocking, right? Right? Hey, I'm here. You want to dance? And you go, yeah, I'll dance. And it goes, yeah, remember when this happened? Remember that happened? You did all this stuff and nothing's happening. Are you sure this stuff is even real? Maybe you don't even create your own reality. Maybe that's just a thing people say and it's not actually true. That's like all of these powerless thoughts happen as a result of us saying, yes, I will dance with you. The thought shows up again like a cloud just floating across our mind, right? The thought says, hey, you've been trying to manifest money for 5 years and nothing's happened. You have a decision in that moment. You can go, I am not going to dance with that right now. It's not where I belong. I belong in hopefulness. I belong in trusting that all is well. I belong in that sense of worthiness. I belong in the knowing that all is well for me. Or you can dance with the thought that just came up. So we can decide to grab hold of the thought and dance with it and sit in it and contemplate the thought, right? Maybe that is true. Maybe all these things have been trying and maybe that's pointless. Maybe all this spiritual stuff is not even real. Maybe, all those things can come as a result of us saying, the thought knocks, hey, remember you've been trying to manifest money for 5 years and nothing's happened? You wanna hang out with that thought? And we say, yeah, that's true. And then all the thoughts like it start coming because we said, yes, I want to dance with you. And that thought says, well, let's bring everybody else in. Yeah, and remember, your mother said this and your uncle said that and your dad said this. Maybe they're right. All these things start coming up because we say yes to the thought that's just crossing your mind. It's not inherently true. It's not inherently challenging, but we say yes by focusing on it, by grabbing hold of it, by choosing to make it a focus, right? The other thing that we wrestle with, what was the other one? There are two other ones. We decide that the thought has meaning. It doesn't. Nor does any life circumstance, by the way. Anything that we're experiencing and we're saying it means this about us, we're the only ones giving it meaning. The life situation is benign. It has no meaning until it shows up in our experience and we give it meaning. We don't have to give it a meaning, but we choose to give it a meaning. So if a thought is crossing your mind, you can decide that it has meaning, which takes you down that rabbit hole of worry and fear and all that, right? Because, I'm having this thought that I've really not been successful manifesting money for the last 10 years. That thought arrives and we go, that must mean none of this is true. That must mean I'm really terrible at this. That must mean like I'm not as powerful as everyone else. That must mean, right? And we are just we're giving the thought a meaning and then going with that meaning. That's not required. We don't have to go there. The thought that is arising is benign. It has no meaning and it has no power until we give it meaning, and we give it power by focusing on it. And so that was the other one, is that it has no power until we choose to focus on it. Sometimes I say to myself, that's a weak ass thought, until I focus on it. It's a weak ass thought. Like, it has no power, no power to take me down, no power to put me in a state of worry, no power to put me in a state of lack, until I decide to give it all of my focus. And now I'm in worry. Now I'm feeling defeated. Now I'm feeling powerless. Now I'm feeling whatever. It doesn't have to have any power. Thoughts have no power. Thoughts is not who we are. It's not who you are. It's just a thought. It's just a little cloud floating on by, right? Floating on by your mind. And then we make all of these decisions that actually causes it to be challenging. So I hope that makes sense. It's us making all of these decisions that causes thoughts to feel challenging. And it'll happen, it'll happen again. And it happens from time to time for me. Thoughts don't feel that challenging. Two things I'll add toward the end of this video. One is I often say out loud to myself, that's just a thought. Often I say, that's just a weak ass thought waiting for my attention to get more powerful. Like, I literally say that out loud. That's you are just a weak ass thought. And the only way that you could take me down a rabbit hole of worry and fear or whatever is if I give you my attention. And I'm going to choose not to give you my attention. I'm going to choose to focus on something else, you know? And so that's one of the things that I do. The other thing that I've noticed that has happened over time in my life, just from the awareness of everything that I'm sharing here today, is that I used to run to something else in order to not have the thought be powerful, right? It's like, oh, I have to find something else to focus on. And I'm trying to like avoid the thought that's coming up, right? Sometimes I just let the thought come up, sit there and stare at it and go, I'm just going to let you stay there. And in about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes or so, it goes by, because I'm sitting there just letting the thought be there, and I'm not choosing to engage. It's just there. Yes, it takes practice. Yes, it's like building a new muscle around thought, you know, rather than just getting anxious because the thought has shown itself to you, right? The other thing that I noticed about my life as I've become more and more aware of what I'm sharing with you here is that I used to run to a solution whenever thoughts put me in a dense frequency, right? I used to run to something else, trying to get away from the thought that's arising. And what I notice is the only time I feel I need to do something about the thought is when I have focused on it enough to give it power, right? Because it doesn't have any power until I focus on it. But when I focus on it and I give it my power, now I gotta run, I gotta watch a video to uplift myself. I gotta, go sit in meditation. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. All of which is fine, by the way. If that's what you need to do in the moment, that's just what you need to do, right? If watching a video, uplifting video is fine. If coming back to this video is helpful, then do that. It's fine. But what I'm sharing with you is over time, what I've noticed is I didn't need to run to anything if I never gave the thought power by focusing on it. The only time I felt like I need to go get a solution to the quote unquote challenging thought, because I'm the one that's creating it being challenging, right? The only time I needed to run to get a solution to the thought that's bringing me down is when I grabbed a hold of the thought. I made it true. I made it mean something. I decided that it was a problem. I decided to grab hold of it. I decided all of these things. And now I got to go fix what's happening in my mind and in my emotions because I gave it power by giving it my focus. And the less I give it my focus, the less I need anything outside of myself. Sometimes I just go, this is not where you belong, Allison. This isn't where you belong. Go back to where you belong. And then I just tune into, oh, right, I'm an infinite being. I'm infinite. These stories that are weaving in and out of my life is not really who I am. And I'm an infinite eternal being. I am none of these stories. I don't have to align with any of these stories. It's not who I am. I'm not any of this. And when I go into that contemplation, it's just a form of remembering. And when I remember, I automatically shift my focus without even trying to, right? It's just, girl, you don't belong in that thought of fear or that thought of those thoughts of doubt or worry. It's not where you belong. Come back home to where you belong. Come back home to where you belong. And then I do. And I don't have to do something about it so much. It's just that I just switch to being where I belong, not as a tactic to avoid the thought, but as a gift to myself. It's a gift of remembrance. Oh, right. That's not where I belong. This is where I belong. So I hope that's been helpful to those of you who feel like you're wrestling with thoughts. Remember that the only reason you're wrestling is because you've given it power by giving it your focus. And all of the decisions that I kind of went through here in this video are decisions we don't need to make. when we make those decisions, it is what creates thoughts being challenging, and they don't need to be.